Okay, Vinyl Me Please did it. What did they do, and why is this, in my opinion, the ultimate free marketing video for this service? Let's find out. Just to start off, I am not paid by Vinyl Me Please to make these Record of the Month videos. I've worked with them in the past, and if they do send me stuff or if they work with me on freelance stuff, I will always tell you and be very upfront about that, because this video is going to be a little bit gratuitous with the amount that I gush over this service, and really, this is going to be like the best marketing video for them ever, and I'm doing it for free because I love them. If you don't know about Vinyl Me Please, definitely go watch this video. They are an awesome service, awesome company. They have a club or subscription model that you can join either monthly or yearly, and if you do go monthly, you can cancel and come back, and there are no sign-up fees, but you do get a discount for signing up for a year. And because I'm trying to get some help as well out here, I have links in the description that you can get as much as $80 off for an entire year subscription if you sign up using that link. Plus, there's also slight discounts for other monthly or 3-month subscriptions as well, but also it helps me out if you sign up using that code. I actually get a portion of that, so we all get some new vinyl, and it's great. You also don't have to be a member to buy vinyl from them, but it is definitely cheaper, and you get all kinds of perks if you are. Also, Vinyl Me Please has teamed up with Cream Magazine, or they brought on some of their writers or editors. Either way, you get these awesome little newspapers each month as well, and I really love these things. This one specifically is a feature on the pressing plant, VM Pressing, that will be producing tons of vinyl for them, including the Impulse box and the Grateful Dead 2nd edition as well. Now, they are also doing some great represses like the Dorothy Ashby and Lee Morgan Take 12, so that is really awesome, and I'm trying to get into that place and give you guys a tour and some interviews, so definitely like, share, and get this video out there so that they will want to get me out to Denver and check this place out. So why is this a great marketing video for Vinyl Me Please? Well, to put it bluntly, I hate Fleetwood Mac, and Vinyl Me Please and Kevin Gray and Mazzy, actually, more on that later, got me to buy a fucking Fleetwood Mac album. Now, if you know me, which I know a lot of you watching don't know me on a very personal level, but I viscerally hate Fleetwood Mac. The hatred is deep, and it goes back to my teenage years when I was way into punk and rock, and I would stay up all night watching Headbangers Ball and eventually Beyond the Music on VH1, and it's here that I first learned of Fleetwood Mac and developed my hatred for them. Now, each band on VH1's Behind the Music would have like vices or something that was like their eventual downfall, and for Fleetwood Mac, it was just that they just kept banging each other.
As if Fleetwood Mac was living inside a musical soap opera. At one point, Mick and Stevie would have an affair. Nevertheless, this was yet one more issue facing this now troubled band, especially for Stevie's ex-boyfriend, Lindsay. Meanwhile, John and Christine were barely talking, and Stevie and Lindsay were often fighting.
And they just came across as whiny and complaining about their self-inflicted love triangles with each other. And I personally love South Park's rendition of Stevie Nicks.
Hey guys, it's Stevie Nicks! Oh, wow!
Nah.
Can I get a picture? I don't want to bother you, but could you sing a quick Fleetwood Mac for us? Could you?
Oh, yeah,
come on.
Great. Nah.
I tell my sister about this. She is gonna flip.
Hey, Miss Nix isn't answering any more questions.
Oh, sure, we understand. Move along. She looks great.
And it really culminated for me in the last dance concert that they did back in 1997. They played it over and over and over again. And I'm a drummer, and I would watch these live shows back then. I was a teenager, and I would concentrate on the drummers, and Mick Fleetwood broke like every cardinal sin that I have about drumming. First of all, he drums with gloves on, which is like playing quarterback with 2 gloves on, which is just completely lame. Second, I'm pretty sure back then he was peddling Easton drumsticks, which were metal and literally made from the same company that makes aluminum baseball bats for little leaguers. So again, lame. And he's wearing a puffy shirt and a vest, a puffy shirt.
Look, I'm sorry, it is just a very unusual shirt.
It's a puffy shirt. I feel ridiculous in it. And I think it's the stupidest shirt I've ever seen, to be perfectly honest with you.
And this is kind of his look, and I can swear I tried to find it. I found the concert on YouTube, but I can't seem to remember it, but I must have put this together. But I distinctly remember him having cymbals that were mounted upside down so that he could uppercut them while he was playing. Now, I couldn't find it on that, so maybe it was actually Don Henley from the Eagles in the stupid Hell's Freezes Over tour. I hate the Eagles too, by the way. So now that you know about my hatred for this band, why did I buy this record? Well, this is where Vinyl Me Please comes in, and specifically the Essentials track. I'm usually subscribed to the Classics track, as you're going to see later on in this video, but you can actually do add-ons each month, and I often do, and Essentials is where VMP started. The first 60, I think, of the Vinyl Me Please record of the months are now counted as Essentials. They even went back last year and reissued some like Charles Bradley and Thelonious Monk in Paris, and it's a very mixed bag with some of these choices, but they all, as I sit and ruminate on them or have discussions with people about them, the Essentials part really does start to shine. For example, I'm not a huge Bone Thugs and Harmony fan, but it came along as an Essentials record of the month, and I asked around about people like what they thought about that, and a lot of people, even if they didn't like it, they respected the contribution of that album and how it really dominated the airwaves of that time period. And if I said to them, would you consider this to be an essential record, most people would say yes. In some of my other Vinyl Me Please videos, people have commented, and I get this one a lot, I don't like others to choose my records for me. I like to choose my own music. I have my own brain, and right on, man, I get that. Like 99% of the time, I'm in the exact same boat. I hardly shop at brick and mortar stores because I find the exact pressing that I want online. But you've probably heard the term let go and let God. Well, at times, I have let go and let Vinyl Me Please. And I gotta say, they know what they are doing, and they converted a Fleetwood Mac hater. They and Kevin Gray and FOMO. I saw him talking on a live stream with Mazzy recently, and he was asked about what album he would love to get his hands on.
I'm going to lobby for one since I'm on here.
Please.
And that would be the Fleetwood Mac album.
And he said this, Fleetwood Mac, self-titled, also known as the White Album. And I was immediately like, hey, they did this on Vinyl Me Please in my birthday month, no less. So this is how FOMO for records hits me. I feel like if Kevin Gray wants this, then so do I. Even though I'm not even into it and I actually hate Fleetwood Mac, or at least I did. Now, let's get into this and stop with my blabbing and hating already. The Essentials record of the month for February 2024, Fleetwood Mac self-titled, again, also known as the White Album, but I'm not going to call it that because to me there is only one White Album. This is pressed by Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound, all AAA analog from the original master tapes, and it's on this awesome split tone vinyl, which goes along with this cool cover. The jacket is a beautiful tip-on jacket. I don't know if the OG was a gatefold or not, but this is not, but it's still really premium. Another thing that I noted on last month's record of the month, inside the jacket, I don't know if Vinyl Me Please is doing this, but the little penguin thing that's on like the inside inner covers of this is also on the inner jacket here as well, and I think that's a really cool touch. The vinyl here is 180 gram, and there's a listening notes booklet from Rachel Brodsky, and it also has a really awesome photo from the time period of the era from the group. And I just think it's really awesome, all of the extra things that you get with your Essentials, the records of the month. They always usually include the booklet, and they also always usually include an extra photo of some sort. This one also includes a lyric sheet, and there's also, of course, the Obi strip, and we're going to get more into this Obi strip when we talk about the classic record of the month. This record came out in 1975, and it's kind of like a very big turning point for the band here. Very iconic songs on it like Rhiannon, Say That You Love Me, and of course Landslide. And this is technically the first Fleetwood Mac album with the iconic lineup of Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. Again, I'm not a big aficionado of the group, but this is their second self-titled album. The first one being Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, and I think they call that the Green Album. Another thing that is weird about this band, it's always odd when the guy that starts with the band leaves the band. It's like, well, if he didn't like the band, why am I going to like the band? Well, that's where Ryan Smith and Vinyl Me Please have helped me along, because this sounds absolutely amazing, like a true 70s rock gem. The drums for this are, for as much as I've hated on Mick Fleetwood, they sound really, really good on this record. Maybe I'm just getting older and I think that I could just appreciate more great production now. I've worked on so many projects with musical things from like choral stuff to orchestral stuff, so true classic rock 70s production is really a gem, and it's an essential to have in your record collection. It has all of the 70s production that you would want on this, and the other thing I like about getting classic records like this is that I've not worn this out to death. So this is basically new to me at this point. So hearing some of the B-side tracks on this, like the last track on here, is really, really sick. And even the very first song on this like hits you right in the face with like an awesome 70s vibe. Again, in talking about the sound quality of this, I think it sounds really, really great, but I always try to see and compare. And apparently a lot of people say that the 45 RPM edition of this that came out for Record Store Day in 2012 is superior to this. But I gotta tell you this, unless you're a really big Fleetwood Mac fan, you're gonna pay probably like $200 or $300 to go get that. I think right now there are only 2 of them on Discogs. One's in Canada as of this recording, and it was for $100, and then the other one was from somewhere else. I'm pretty sure it was over $300. So very, very hard to find that pressing. I'm pretty sure they only released 6,000 of them, and for a band like Fleetwood Mac to only release 6,000 of something is like, you might as well only have like 50 of them, you know? I would try to go get this. I mean, Vinyl Me Please has this out there, and they usually are pretty good about repressing their records of the months, and this is an essentials one. It's not even one of the new rock ones. The rock ones seem to be selling out like crazy, but this one is available, and I would definitely go get it if you're a fan of Fleetwood Mac, and if you're interested at all in a really, really, really good sounding 70s record, this is definitely your jam. I gotta admit, Vinyl Me Please has won me over on a Fleetwood Mac. I would never ever have bought this in a store, especially like if I had the choice of getting like some soul funk or jazz or reggae stuff. This is why I'm a part of this service. They make awesome picks that I would not have chosen myself, and so now I have Bruce Springsteen and Fleetwood Mac records on my shelf because of Vinyl Me Please. So thank you very much, Vinyl Me Please, for making this a choice that I should consider, and I was very happy that I did. If you are enjoying any of this, you might already be subscribed to Vinyl Me Please, and that is awesome, but it would be even better to subscribe to this channel because I make tons of great videos and I talk about Vinyl Me Please a lot, but it's free to subscribe here. So there is that. Next, for the classics track of February 2024, this is the space jazz or soul jazz masterpiece that has never been repressed since it came out in 1969, Gary Bartz' Another Earth, featuring Pharaoh Sanders on sax and Charles Tolliver on trumpet. This is also pressed on 180 gram vinyl, AAA cut from the original master tapes from Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound. This was originally released on the Milestone label. They put it out here on this awesome, awesome gatefold jacket with the new and improved booklets that they now put out for the classic records. These are now like the same as the Essentials booklet. They don't do the smaller booklets anymore, which is a bummer for me, but I guess everybody else liked these ones better. We have the classic Obi strip as well. Now, I didn't mention this on the Fleetwood Mac, but it looks like the Vinyl Me Please has now doing newer Obi strips, and I gotta say, I really like this newer design. I was just looking at the previous ones the other day and thinking from a design standpoint, they have all this black wasted space, so they moved the text from the back to the front, and they also moved the track name to the back and added a barcode on the back, and then they give all the hype sticker information now on the Obi. I think that this is actually a lot better of a presentation to have it this way, and I hope that they stick with this for a while. I'm sorry if I'm like talking way too long about an Obi strip, but I love Obi strips. They're one of my favorite things about collecting records, especially original Japanese Obi strips. I absolutely love them. Okay, so back to the music. This sounds absolutely amazing. The first side is all one track. I think it's 23 minutes long. It's dead quiet, and this is a really good record for someone getting started with like space jazz or soul jazz, I would say. It's not too far out there, and side 2 is actually very accessible and more straight ahead jazz, and there's actually different tracks. This is Gary Bartz's first outing as a leader, and there's also a younger Pharaoh Sanders on this as well. Looking this up, the OG is extremely hard to find and expensive. I would bet you are never ever going to find the cover in this condition. This is a great title for Vinyl Me Please Classics to reissue, because this isn't even on Apple Music. It might be on like Spotify Spotify. I tried finding it on Apple Music. It wasn't on there. So you should definitely consider getting this and wanting to have this one on vinyl, especially if you're into jazz. If you're not too much into straight jazz, this is a good one for that. If you're into straight jazz, but you want to get into like more fusion-y kind of stuff, this is also a nice place to start with that too. Plus, it's just great that they haven't reissued this since 1969. So here we are with a really great brand new reissue, which sounds fantastic. Both records this month were flawless. There were no pops, no warps, and just an update from last month, I got my new Black Sabbath Master of Reality in, and it was also flawless. So again, I'm very happy with the customer service there. You gotta check out Vinyl Me Please's Discord as well. I actually don't use Discord for anything else but conversations about Vinyl Me Please. I don't even really know how to use it. They're very active on there though, and they've announced the new John Coltrane A Love Supreme box set early on there, as well as took questions about it. And they're doing this whole new awesome Latin soul series, starting with some Fania stuff. And you got to stay tuned for that because I already have the first one pre-ordered. We're going to be talking about that one as well. I also just got the new Sly and the Family Stone exclusives, and a video is going to be coming out about the AAA cuts of those. Again, lots of awesome stuff from Vinyl Me Please. If you want to join this service, use the code in the description below. It helps me help you. You get a great discount and I get a match on that as well. So it's a win-win for both of us. If you like this video, you're probably going to like some others on this channel as well. So definitely go watch those. And in the meantime, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to go listen to some Fleetwood Mac and chill. I'll see you guys on the next one.